after the game, I blow me later. I just okay one, and then this thing starts where usually the Sundowns players will go to like acknowledge their fans, whatever. So Majida this time, Ayasoga boy. The fans were chanting Pitso. So that's the word now, and we've seen already. I think what's Italy flaming back, but the point is the Sundowns fans are now a change in the coach like agent.
Are the fans justified in terms of the response? Okay, flopper management. Like, who's at fault in this whole thing?
Ooh. A very difficult one for me to answer now because they've decided to keep him longer. I thought by now we'd be gone.
That burst of pace, that ability.
Yeah. He's got
think of Sundowns at Pitso. Yes, they used to play the ball around. But at any point, you knew that they could hit the ball into the channel. Billiard, you've suffered a few times. Billiard could get on the channel and run at people. Pesitao could do the same. They had that. And I feel like now that's what's missing at Sundowns. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Saleng could give them that.
In my opinion, if you're not going to sign a player that's better than Likutlwano Likaku, why is he coming into the club? For me, other than Lucas Ribeiro, there's no better player at Mamelodi Sundowns that can play on the right except Kutlwano Likaku.
Ladies and gents, welcome to the State of Football, where the game meets opinion, memory, and insight. Another Maza loading big episode, big things. Wagwan. Lindo Pep, you back, my boy? Are you nice?
My boy. I'm nice.
Aye, fair in
What do you do?
Mnati kaufela. Kumere. Joeno regular mkhoti wa Kava. Mnati.
Easy just.
Apex Playbook host, Mpoza.
What's it?
Some of the comments about, hey, when's another interview coming, Apex Playbook? I think we have a lot coming up, eh?
Yeah, we want to start with interviews in Feb. So let's go out, guys. That's still a thing.
Yes.
Let's go out.
Sawara, because people better Bendile interviewing done, and apparently the interviews are fire. So shout out to you. But other than that, our beloved PSL is back, gents. We are back like we never left, back like Mokokotlo. First thing first, Mamelodi Sundowns, I think, is the first thing we want to tackle today. And I think the first thing Mamelodi Sundowns, dog, maybe got the signings. They've upgraded the team a bit. Bryan Leon in from Colombia. Saleng in from Orbit. I think I'm forgetting one more signing.
Ndamane.
Khulumane Ndamane in from TS. So maybe let's discuss Maseko Vailengaruile Cyprus or something, which is, I think, a very good move for him. But I think let's start there, gents. So far, Mpoza, Udibona Joang designing in Joanna?
So it depends. So Saleng, let's start with Saleng because he's like the, probably the most talked about signing. Right? I think with Saleng, it's let's wait and see because we all know his quality. When he's at his best, we know he's a good player. We know he can improve any team, right? But we also don't know which version of Saleng we're getting, because a lot has happened. So we also know that he's injured. So we don't know how long it will take, first of all, for him to get back to his best. And if we'll ever see that version, I hope we do. And if we do, then obviously it's a brilliant signing. Then the new striker, I've seen glimpses of, we saw him in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
I think he gives them something different, but I also think it's too soon to judge. Ndamane, so here's the thing, gents. Obviously a brilliant long-term signing for Sundowns. Fantastic player, left-footed. Long-term is obviously, plus Libusa Vaile is going to take over. But I'm not sure in terms of the next 6 months, him trying to go to the World Cup. Do you think he's signed to take over immediately and, or does it affect his chances of going to the World Cup? So that's why it depends.
There's maybe let me start with Khulumane. To be honest with you, with the boy, 21 years old, left-footed, height.
Yeah.
I like a player that has a little bit of everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
More especially playing in a team like Mamelodi Sundowns. Remember, that's a team that competes at the highest level of football. This is the apex.
Yeah.
And I guess we should be speaking about apex football.
Yeah.
And that's the space that he's getting himself into. Fortunately enough, he's training with the Mamelodi Sundowns boys in the national team. That's always a positive. It's important for any football player. I think not supposed to that. I think dressing room dynamics are very important when you come into that space where everything is about winning.
Yeah.
Coach Pitso references everything every time one thing. we need a quiet dressing room because a quiet dressing room wins titles. And I think he's getting himself into that space.
Yeah.
He comes into it from a team that was a dogfight, where each and every action mattered. But now he's getting into a team where dominance is what is taught. The rhythm of play, the tempo, is all about dominance. It's all about control. It's always about the lateral advancement in terms of being an extra pass. We identified something when we saw Cupido.
Yeah.
The space for him at Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah.
He's a left footer. You are talking about Cupido, who I think his primary role, other than maybe being a footballer, a defender, I mean to say, is to always maybe provide that extra pass to force the first line of bait.
Yeah.
So they might use him as a bait. He's comfortable on the ball. He can play those diagonal balls like Umbogazi. He can defend a set piece. You know, he's a strong header of the ball. So for me, when you're talking about Khulumane, you're talking about the future Bafana left centre back, a future Bafana player, Mamelodi Sundowns top class signing for me.
Yeah.
I mean indaba yami sanibona green.
Yeah.
Ndamane Sundowns angiboni besides ukuthi is a left footer nani balance bebe 2. Makuthi uzodlala lapha akuzoba nzima.
For me, it's more. I think long term.
Yeah.
I think he will definitely play. I see him long term.
Long term.
Because,
It's just
okay,
that now,
I'm just worried about this 6 months. Is he gonna play enough now in the 6 months, or do we see another
So wait,
situation?
let's leave the national team out of it. Let's
Okay.
look at him in terms of him fitting into the Sundowns and him competing against Grant, Cupido, Dibusa made space for him. We can just say that.
Koza in the space.
Yeah.
You can mention a Koza.
Koza. So he's got three centre backs that he's competing with. And the only advantage that he has, he's a left footer.
He's left-footed. Yeah.
So that's the only advantage that I can say. Unai, he'll give them a balance.
Yeah.
Left footer, make shy plays over quicker because naturally in your lack.
So wait, the bigger question here, when you've been in those dressing rooms,
Sure.
the bigger questions when there's always 5 centre backs is, who is the first progressor from deep?
Sure.
If you've got a left footer and he gives you that ability, even though you have that on the right hand side, would you opt for a right footer or a left footer?
It depends on the personnel and what the
You've signed the personnel, you've studied him, you've scouted him, you've spent time going through his data, you've spent time watching him away, at home, you've spent time seeing him in bad, in good moments, you've seen him in high pressure situations, you've seen his technical ability.
But
You've
here's
played
what I'm
against
saying
him.
to you. The only advantage is he's a left footer. But the centre backs that are currently there are very comfortable also playing on the left hand side.
Cupido usually plays on the left. Yeah.
And he's comfortable.
But my thing is this. Now, also remember, Hore, Grant is 34 this year.
No
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
34.
Yeah,
Grant
Grant is
92.
34.
Grant is 92.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grant is 34 this year, right? Koza, I think it's safe to assume that Ndamane is probably ahead of Koza. He should be because Koza is also a long-term prospect. I would assume.
But that's debatable, man.
Really.
That's debatable.
And then it leaves Cupido. I think there's enough space. I'm just worried about whether he's going to hit the ground running.
You know what I
and
want to
play
ask
immediately.
Kutepo?
Sure.
Yeah.
Who's a better defender? Primary job
Yeah.
between Khulumane Ndamane and Umalubongo Koza in terms of defending, 1v1 defending, similar type like Umbogazi.
Yeah.
Who's better defending 1v1?
Ndamane.
I think he's a better defender. I think number one thing about the boy, very solid in terms of 1v1 defending, and also an advantage in every centre back, pace.
Yeah.
Interpreting the game.
Here's another thing about defending. If you play for a team that's always used to defending, you already structure yourself to defending. When you play for a team like Sundowns, where you know defensively you're not. That's
the challenge for the boy. That's the challenge for the boy.
You put a team in like it is Ndamane. He's forced to go to
So you'll see that he can defend.
never say I'm charged from what we've seen because we've only seen him from Sundowns.
Seen him play.
It's a good point.
Yep.
I think also what you need to think of, guys, I think this is the point that Mpo is making, right? In the next 6 months, Ndamane's main competition, I think, is Cupido. Because Grant is on the right?
Yeah, predominantly on the right.
Predominantly, it's between him and Cupido, who's probably going to start for this Mamelodi Sundowns teams going forward. And Cupido is...
Except Cupido can play on the right. So because you right-footed centre backs, you don't really mind. It's the left-footed ones who must always be on the left. Plug and play. Like it doesn't really.
So Cupido and Grant are ahead. Right now, they're the starting centre back pairing. Mamelodi Sundowns.
Hey, Lord.
The guy is back. The guy is back training.
Oh, Lord Mvala is back.
Training,
Oh my gosh.
He's back training.
If Mvala is fit, he's the best centre back in the club.
He's back
I
training.
think
A fit Mvala.
Fit Mvala is the best centre back at the club.
for Ndamane right now is if he does not play, how does Hugo Bruce justify taking him to the World Cup ahead
Guys,
of the
I
other
think
guys?
we've seen that one play out. Hugo, if he believes in you, he believes in you. Leo.
You know, I actually forgot about Lord Mvala. Actually, if
Mvala.
Mvala is back, he's going to be a key addition going into the last, where they call it 6 or 5 months into
Even
the season.
for the national team.
If not only the national team, I think even for in the Betway Premiership.
Yeah.
I think that he's going to be very solid. If he comes into that Mamelodi Sundowns defense in the Champions League, I think it'll be very crucial.
Yeah. But I think all in all, we agree Ndamane is a great signing.
No, he is
Top class.
He's a good player.
Top class.
Okay.
It's just right now right now for the next 6 months. Well, we'll see how that plays out. It could be tricky, but we'll see. We don't know.
Sure.
Different things have happened, and then Bryan Leonard.
Then,
Many things in him. Saleng is the one.
Saleng, guys, okay. Enough on Saleng, Sundowns. Askis. Askis.
Is it why? Because of how they play or him as a player?
First things first, Omofita left me.
Yeah, that's a big question.
Omofita guy.
Okay, but guys, we're at the stadium, right?
Yeah.
We were the three of us went to watch game
Down Al Hilal.
Yeah, Al Hilal, right? And we kept saying, we said a lot and we'll get into it. But one of the things we were saying is that this team needs something different, man. They need someone with certain X factor. Can he be that guy maybe?
In my opinion, if you're not going to sign a player that's better than Kutlwano Likaku, why is he coming into the club? For me, other than Lucas Ribeiro, there's no better player at Mamelodi Sundowns that can play on the right except Kutlwano Likaku. I've watched the boy very, very close. Because I rate him very, very highly. Very sleek, very clean. His game is very clean. I've never seen a boy, I've always rated even a good development players that pass the ball, little shave of John.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just technique, man. If you have.
That boy, technically, he's got these diagonal dink passes that he can pick in the box. He's got unbelievable vision, underrated. You have to watch to see it. Unfortunately, it's that player.
But
unfortunately, you have to watch to see it.
But does he have that burst of pace, that ability?
Yeah. He's got it.
Think of Sundowns at Pitso. Yes, they used to play the ball around. But at any point, you knew that they could hit the ball into the channel. Billiard, you've suffered a few times. Billiard could get on the channel and run at people. Pesitao could do the same. They had that. And I feel like now that's what's missing at Sundowns. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Saleng could give them that.
But they're not playing the same.
But maybe that's the problem.
They're not playing the same.
Maybe that's why they're running into
different
the problems.
Coach, different tactics, different dimensions.
But
Okay, sharp. I think now when we're talking about the tactics and how they're playing, right?
Yeah.
I think let's get into the 2 games that we just saw them since AFCON. And I think this conversation will be key to what we're going to discuss now, right? First game against Orbit, you saw the lineup was very different. It was a different lineup. And then they played Al Hilal, different lineup. Literally, it's almost like Al Hilal,
which makes sense,
stronger team, right? So, game against Orbit, 2-0 win. First, so we're going to discuss both games. Rediboni Joang both those games, but let's start with Orbit and then we get to Al Hilal. And then we can talk tactics and how we saw that Al Hilal games in terms of the white players and maybe
how Saleng could fit in there. Yeah, look, I think with the Orbit game, we obviously saw like a very different lineup. And that's where the depth comes in. And we're still going to unpack depth here, Sundowns, against their rivals as well. We saw them be able to use the depth they have. They made changes. And I mean, you can't read too much into that game because, like you said, it's a weakened Sundowns team, but still a very good team. Could probably beat any other team on. But for me, what really stood out for me, I enjoyed seeing Adams.
Yeah,
Adams and Mkolisi, because I think we really need Adams both at Sundowns and at Bafana. Like a good Adams is one of the best central midfielders in the country. So I enjoyed to see them in midfield, and then good result. Some will say it wasn't that convincing, but for me, they got the job done. They got the 3 points, and they managed to rest some players. So that game for me, I don't think we can read too much into it, but it was a good performance, good result. Ibon Joang Jens.
Yeah, I think it's just players taking their opportunity.
Yeah.
Mamelodi Sundowns, of course, is a team that has audited the squad that they've built, and they've realized that they need these players that they've played, obviously, in that game. For them, it was more of let's build competition amongst the group that we have. You saw players like, of course, Abo Adams, Abo Mkhulis, and Mbizeni. I think he played exceptionally well. I think he always gives you an 8 out of 10 every time when he plays.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's competing against a player like Marcelo Allende, whom I believe is the best midfielder in the league, in my opinion. If not, I think the boy is exceptional.
Foreign
midfielder. But I think if you look at overall, in terms of technical quality, Khulis, is very, very close to an Atlantic type of a player. And Adams, good performance from him. Sales, in my opinion, plays well all the time when he plays against an Obi Temakesi.
Yeah.
Shies away every time when it's a big game.
Yeah.
Black
truck bully.
He always strikes. He always strikes. Picks his games. He always strikes. Solid performance from Ukran. Solid performance from the young Sphere boy. Sure. I think the boy's got potential. We're having this conversation on Poza Emotweni where I said, given an opportunity, because Mamelodi Sundowns is a CAF Champions League game, if you had a Vuyoli Tapa and you had a Tato Sibia, you're going to...
Can Gangan askis?
Yeah.
Askis. Indaba ye left back.
Yeah.
Sibone boy yashis. What does it say to Pasadena?
Ish.
You know what? And unfortunately, you've played the game. You know that the even in music, the best songwriters are the ones that have gone through a lot. And I think he's probably in a space in his career where he might not have been playing as much as he want to in terms of technical quality, in terms of individual brilliance, for sure, up there with the best left backs in the country. Sure. But why is he not playing? That's a coaching thing. You've probably have experienced that in your career as well, where you are playing absolutely brilliant in another team. You move on to another team and you find out that the coach maybe prefers a younger left back because maybe he knows how to defend larger spaces. If you look at Pasadena's quality, is that he's a left back that can't defend larger spaces. So if you play him as a left back, you need to protect him as well. You play him next to a left centre back who can defend a 1v1. Technical ability in terms of finding deep balls and in position, absolutely brilliant. But I think maybe how Cardoso wants to play, he probably is looking for an outlet into that space, which is sad for the boy because he's top class.
But I think what Tep was trying to get at, maybe it's, we know Aubrey best left back in the country. We agree, right?
Sure.
So Aubrey's the first choice.
Yeah.
And we know that they often play Lunga sometimes when they want someone more defensive, divine, right? So I think then the question becomes, if now Ntwana Tato is coming in, very good player, now he's probably either the second choice or maybe the third choice.
Straight, he's ahead of him.
The question is, what does it mean for Basadin's future at Sundowns? I think maybe that's the main.
More so,
guys. I mean, he started midweek, made his debut, Champions League, Al Hilal, big game.
Yeah,
Basadin was on the bench.
Because I would think if I was in Basadin's shoes, I'm saying you're playing Obets. It's more like a team that you're expected to beat.
Yeah.
If anything, say Sundowns.
Yeah.
So the run would be good for me.
Yeah.
100%.
And then I don't get that run.
When I saw the youngster starting on against Obet, I then say to myself, okay, they probably thought we're gonna beat Obet. Perfect time to give the youngster his debut.
That's what I'm saying.
Nothing wrong. But I thought maybe if Aubrey is not playing on Saturday in the Champions League or Friday, then Basadin will start and Tato will be on the bench. But now it looks like Tato is above Basadin, so he's falling even further down the pecking order, and I guess it's a concern.
Fair enough. Let's just
it's a problem. Okay, cool.
Question mark.
We'll see how it plays out. I mean, it's only been 2 games since AFCON, so interesting. How about getting left back to A4, gents? No good down.
Tiwani left. I saw Tiwani went to
Stellenbosch.
Stellies, yeah.
So, boys, we were there at the game. You already mentioned it, against Al Hilal.
Yeah.
Interesting game to start off. I mean, both Al Hilal and Downs are now on 5 points. Rulani's team is on 1 point, but they have a game in hand. They win their game in hand. It's 4 points, 5-5.
Or Mazembe wins. Mazembe
wins. It's 4 points. So either or.
I mean, Lupopo. Lupopo.
It's a very tight group. Ne. Ribon Joan came Al Hilal le Downs.
Lindo, We were there. You were.
I mean, there's a lot that happened in the game. But
we sat next to each other and we discussed it. So
the first tactical thing that I noticed is, I think for us to do anything special in the Champions League, we're going to have to be aggressive in our primary press. I think no matter what type of press we deploy on the game, whether it's a 1v1, whether it's a reactive, whether it's a team, whether it's a collective, whatever type of press that we want to deploy in the game, I think we cannot allow the opponent to play around us. Playing through us is even more dangerous because I could find the Hilal playing through us. And every time when a team plays through, we always get worried. When the ball starts penetrating into midfield and then it gets into their quick dynamic forwards, and then we start worrying because they are turning our backs in terms of defending. Got worried. I told you that, Mpos. I said to you, I'm very worried because we're giving them confidence. You're allowing them to build up the first time, the second time, the third time. It's the 15th minute. We are not scoring. You're not creating goal-scoring opportunities. They start getting the confidence. Another thing is the positive thing that in Mamelodi Sundowns is that, yes, Matthews and Sales come inside to be a double number 10 because Nuno drops a little bit deeper, closer to Marcelo Allende and Utebza. You would find that when we have the ball, we always use them as a wall for an extended extra pass. Then you would find us breaking. Unfortunately, Ndiba took longer to read those passes, but I like maybe his first run. Sometimes a striker, if the first run doesn't happen, you always come for the second run. And I would have appreciated that. The striker that came into the second half, the Colombian, gave us legs. He's a runner. He
could stretch them a bit.
He works the channels.
He smells the space. I love a striker that runs into the space. He can smell the space. And for me, those are things that I identified. But in terms of position in midfield, Nuno is the best player in the Petty Premiership.
Nuno Santos I can't argue with you on that one.
I said when he came in, he played one game, and I said, and this, I always feel that, and I get it because every time when I have conversations with legends and players that have played that position, I think they agree a little bit with me, and maybe I don't get to articulate myself a little bit. We struggle with permutations in number 10.
It's ilunongisilento.
Yeah.
Before nunun. Quality uphume Portugal uzemzansi.
Yeah.
Quality angale. Around yena mele kube nequality ezomsuta istrength lezi zakhe. Njengoba uthi umthiba ebengasiboni lesa space. Then do we play manje uNuno sithi awudlali to istrength sabantu around wena or abantu around wena abadlali ngestrength sakho wabakafundani abakatholi isikhathi.
You know, it's two ways. It's always about the passer and the receiver. You know, and for me, if I can have a relationship, I can have telepathy between the number 10 and the striker. Sometimes the connection is a little bit difficult. But even against the Orbit, if you watch the first half and you analyze that first, he played really well. He was running those channels, and funny enough, they were finding him, Abo Adams, because they were playing that ball a little bit quicker than maybe Abo Marcelo Allende. Abo Marcelo Allende are more of recyclers. They are responsible for tempo. They are responsible for rhythm. They are responsible for playing the piano. Right?
Yeah.
But you're looking at Nuno Santos. There's things that he doesn't have, Tep. And what he doesn't have is not a dribbler. What we have is that close control, dlali one pale kasi, skule si pasa le anto le an. And since we target. Because Stina say let's two ball in it.
Squajas.
5 rand, boy. You know, so target one ball. Boy, Melbenzima ngebata. Marcelo Allende unzima ngebata. And I think that maybe what we have is that it's the dribbling quick combination. What I was impressed again with Sundowns is that the distance between the players. Distance in football means time. The distance, that we were very close. That's why I said, in my opinion, it's very difficult to watch football when you're watching on TV in terms of interpretation. But when I was there, I said to you, draw game, but I think we played very well in terms of occupying certain channels. There's things there I'm not happy about, which is we are using Kulisomdao, Notatos Bia as our first point of exit. We are playing against a locked team. The game is locked. The game is compact. It's narrow. You need dribblers. You need players that can express themselves. We are receiver from the right hand side. He always wants to pass a negative pass. How we receive even in midfield is very crucial. Football communicates ngebhola. You don't. Nani masingazwana ukhuluma isiPortuguese ukhuluma isiZulu. Football communicates. If ngwenya yami receiver positive, ungitshela ukuthi yahamba. Ngizosondela nami for a combination. If receiver negative, I'm good. The body language will tell me. As a centre back, ngizofuna receiver with the diagonal first touch as well, right? So which for me is very crucial. I think those are things that are crucial at Mamelodi Sundowns to open the opponent because maybe we don't have those dribblers. In terms of Saleng, how do you play him? Because because now you need him to make those lateral diagonal runs into the box. Coming inside, Saleh's masters that maybe. Do I like him on the ball? Maybe not. I prefer Kutlwane Lutlak. I will always vouch for that boy. I think for me at Mamelodi Sundowns, he's the player that should be starting game. He's not favourite per se. I think there's no better player in terms of him, in terms of technical skill, in terms of individual brilliance, in terms of what he can offer the team.
Yeah.
Give that boy 10 games in a row and see what he can do for Mamelodi Sundowns.
So it's just opportunity.
Just opportunity for me.
Okay.
But for me, I had to tap in it. So Opola, when we were sitting watching the game, and I was saying, I said to you guys, look how comfortable these guys are. Because Sundowns need to the ball. We know Sundowns need to the ball. I know. And they looked great. Marcelo doing his thing. Everything looked good. But what did I say to you guys? I said, guys, and sometimes it's good over Olco Stadium because I feel like Olco Stadium, you can see things that you can't really see on TV.
Yeah.
And I even said, guys, you know what this looks like? This looks like the drills of under 15 when they teach you how to stay compact and then shift. Yeah. That's all that we're doing. And that's what a lot of teams just do against Sundowns. So I'm not sure this thing your wing backs, because actually your two wingers come in. So you basically have like 3 number 10s.
Yeah.
And then Mudau kada, Tato Sibia kada. But doesn't it sometimes slow the team down? Because it's this slow build up, and then the ball gets to Kuliso, then the opposition shifts across.
It's predictable.
Kuliso plays it back. We recycle the play. We start again.
Here's simple soccer. Like when you're under 15, they teach you to compete.
Yeah. And then
if you can't go through them, you must go around them.
Yes.
Or over.
Yeah.
And then the only thing I can say, Sundowns, for every vertical pass they did, now it's a horizontal one, which made Al Hilal recover quick. So you can't expect you move the ball horizontally, quick. You find that space, release and then the next pass also goes back. So then if I the team more seconds, it shifted behind.
Please explain it like you explain to a 5-year-old. Or don't tell them.
If you pass the ball sideways.
So let's make it practical.
It goes from left back.
Marcelo gets the ball and he plays it.
And then he plays to Tevza.
Okay.
And then from Tevza, it goes to Tashrik on the side.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to Tato.
Okay.
Tato plays it to Grant.
Okay.
Grant takes that ball, he plays it into Nuno.
Yes.
And then from Nuno, it goes back to Sailor, for instance. And then it goes back to Grant.
That's my problem. I'm like,
if Grant or Marcelo plays that ball into Nuno or the striker, you expect it to be wide and then in the box to finish the play. Then you see when's the attempt. You finish the play or something.
But doesn't a Saleng give you something different?
That's the thing, because both these guys are inverted now, right? Both the white players.
What the white players are inverted. Give you? Or X factor again?
Yeah.
Goals.
Yes.
Coming from where?
Goals.
Coming
from
why?
Anything. Most of his goals are in between the second zone, in between the centre back and the full back.
Yeah.
I think he thrives into that space. He's a one-touch finisher. His left foot is very educated, more especially when he's closer to the box.
So I think I position Sundowns.
Half 9. He's a winger that can play as a 9, in my opinion. He's a winger, not a winger that can play as a 10.
So here's my difficulty. And again, I like the way Tapo's explained it, because it's almost like we're just taking it back to basics. One thing that for me that really worries me about the Sundowns team, as a defender, you know more than any of us. What doesn't happen enough for me? They don't turn the opposition defenders enough. Everything is happening. We're talking about. I'm like, it's happening in front of them, right? They never look like they're getting in behind. They never look like they've got that player who's at least fullback, make the whole team face their own goal, something like that. It's all short, right, switcher, we bring it back. And what I'm saying is, doesn't Saleng give you that? Doesn't he give you that option? He can just stay on the line, get the ball, run at someone, do something. Give us something different.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Sundowns doesn't play like that.
But here's the thing.
But shouldn't they play like that?
So I think that's the argument. Remember, when we were watching the game, that's one of the things we were speaking about, right? You have the widest, highest players are your two fullbacks,
yes,
which you just referenced to, right? So does it need to be like that on both sides? That's the question, right? Can't we maybe invert one of the fullbacks? Maybe that's where Saleng comes in, where he can hug the line on one of the sides, and then we give the team something different to worry about. Because Sailor is a good player. But going forward, someone, I'd say sometimes, even his final ball sometimes can be disappointing. So don't we need someone with a little bit of X factor, defender, something a little bit extraordinary? Because right now you have Saleh, you have Tashriq. Both of them are literally next to the 9, but Takile in. But now it's predictable. But
because it's also about the profile of player, right? Remember, you've lost a Ribeiro. What could Ribeiro do? Ribeiro sometimes and he gets the ball, he drops the shoulder, he leaves someone behind. Now we're doing something. Or we've got Mushishi, he finds the space. Nuno is not that guy. Nuno is adding to what was touch. I just feel like someone
running in behind also, which is very important.
The pass to Salis.
That was a very good pass.
Yes. Passing a and then there's the second one.
Okay, sharp.
For the longest time, we've known Sundowns Kokota Street is so.
Yeah.
We've known. So they've been putting numbers centrally because they know about Kokota Street. And it's worked for them.
Okay.
It's not working right now.
You've played different Sundowns teams, ne?
I'll tell you the difference.
Yeah.
So Kokota Street.
Okay.
But now Kokota Street, they always had individual brilliance. Abafao. Jagano Ringo, Ribeiro Nana Loring. 1-2
at this side,
at my face.
Yeah.
Bo pass players, Mshish Nanalo.
Yeah.
R1-2, I straight. Bo Pesitao, same thing.
Yes.
Magnabaya straight so. Nearly really bagama side. So Regasere, they've changed so much. So no into claring. Maybe Bavana on individual brilliance.
And you don't think Saleng is that guy?
No, I don't think so.
You know what's disappointing for me?
Straight up.
Yeah.
You know what's disappointing for me?
Yeah.
Is that Mamelodi Sundowns has spent all the money they've spent. Auditing the squad, bringing in a sporting director who's done exceptionally well.
Yeah.
From being players like Ribeiro, Marcelo Allende, and so many local players, Nuno's, and all the good young players that have done well at the club. The only disappointing thing for me is that this club is not complete. The best clubs in the world, and I'm expecting Mamelodi Sundowns to be one of the best teams in Africa. I was expecting them to be a complete team by now, in terms of aerial threat. I thought that maybe we'd bring in players that would be an aerial threat, whether defensively or offensively. In terms of defensive and offensive transition, you look at the player that we just brought now, Ulion. I think he's maybe a transition striker, similar to Ikram Renas. Can run behind, he can smell the space.
Yeah.
You've got Abolebum Tito, Tiba, or strikers that can play on the second ball, players that can run the channel very deadly as well on dead ball situations. You've got the Peter Shalulile, who's a fox in terms of striking position. In midfield, you've got players like Abu Obas, a profile that Coach Hugo likes, similar profile like a European 6 that has more defensive qualities that offensively, a player that can defend larger spaces, can cover volume in terms of yards. You look at control in midfield. You've got the Marcelo Allende, you've got Mkulise, you've got so many players. Defensively, fullbacks, you've got fullbacks that can play in between the boxes, that can attack and bring in a ball in the box. You've got midfielders fullbacks that can invert. You've got that team was supposed to be complete.
So Lindo Shomganam. Yeah. So Uti, I could complete in terms of what?
In terms of
now.
Like we said, the conversation has, the narrative here is Mamelodi Sundowns is predictable.
Yeah.
And I am saying the reason why we are predictable is because we can't do everything. Please deliver. The ball that comes into the box, we're supposed to have the best players in Africa that can deliver the ball into the box. We are supposed to have the best players in terms of transition, best players in terms of picking a pass from midfield. Center backs that are dangerous in terms of offensively and defensively.
Sure.
Center backs that scored goals. Some of the best teams, if you want to win the Champions League, unfortunately, you have to have everything.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you need to dominate position. Sometimes you are playing against a team that has a low block. Now you need players that have got a certain level of technical skill and individual brilliance. 1v1
type of situations.
You are playing against a team in a quai.
But isn't that way? And last time you were here, you touched on the fact that isn't Cardoso's biggest opponent the style of play? Because I hear what you're saying, but you know what's going to happen. If they realize on to a high span, and then I'm just making an example. Basayana an old school winger, a mere lining, across a ball, a little ring.
Unfortunately, that's where
you get what I mean. Or we start playing the ball long, Mutibari holder, Ramo supporter,
And the signing of Saleng is telling you that's the direction of the club.
Yeah,
they are looking for options. We have dribbling wizards. We have players who are comfortable on the ball. We've signed them. We've signed about Risinia. Abantu abafuna enyaweni, abantu abafuna ukubreaka ngebata. But now we need players that maybe aggressive in terms of attacking the space. You look at Saleng, is aggressive in terms of attacking the space. The Leon boy who comes from Colombia, very aggressive in terms of attacking the space. But for me, what I'm asking Cardoso now is, I think where the Mamelodi Sundowns fans are, it's we need a team that can do a little bit of everything. We need a shoeshine and piano. We need a transition organized team. We need a team that is solid in terms of attacking a set piece. And we need a team that's defensively solid when we play against big matches.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I think we've overlaid at this point.
So if we speak last point when came here Al Hilal, Sundowns. I think when Sundowns was up 2-1, they were still playing open.
I didn't understand it.
For what reason? I looked and I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Do you want more goals? Are you giving team a chance to counter? I can understand no it's alarm. Maybe from the phone telling mo ground mo de nabe o tepe moto ka njaga.
Easy. So you don't think the game management was good?
Yeah, because at 2-1 they could have played that slow tempo.
That's the time to play.
Invite them.
Have everything. Fast tempo, slow down the game.
And if you look at the goal that Al Hilal scored, we were caught.
Decision making.
We were caught one ball in behind goal. Literally, that's what happened. You know, so I guess
also offside line, guys, high line. There's no pressure.
Yeah, and I wanna be so Mara Shebang, hey. Let's not just one answer here.
Yeah,
sure.
Mpo. Are we good enough to go all the way in the Champions League?
No.
Anybody differs on this point? Can we go all the way in the Champions League? Yes, no.
All the way also depends who you play going forward. Because NL Ahly might be knocked out by someone and you might get a
favorable draw so or something like that.
Depends on your route there. But there's potential.
There's potential, of course.
Yeah.
And the quality, they've got so much quality that you can never say they can never win the Champions League. Because of the quality players they have. I got decided Nuno one day in J. Or
they've got exception.
You know, but I'm just saying, you know, my biggest problem is that Cardoso, for me, Frope Akali Cardoso is that Hana plan sometimes. It's like when the opposition comes up with all these questions, like we're setting up like this, it's something. I don't see it.
Cardoso.
Yeah.
Ke number 1 mo leading, ke number 1 ko groupung. Le mpatla style of play. Ke tla ko lona ke number 1. What more do you want?
So for me,
do you want the results? Do you want the tiki-taka, the nice fancy stuff?
That's a different conversation.
So how plan king?
My problem is this. Right? And the thing is, because you know, we've debated this so many times off cameras, right? We're not objective sometimes.
Yeah. Sure.
You need to understand, as much as we talk about Rolani Sundowns having been this superpower, Rolani got to a point where he ran into certain problems. When he met certain teams that set up the top teams, you'll always beat teams in the groups, that you'll find a way. Every time it got to those crucial moments in the Champions League games, and then they came up with all these questions, there were no answers. And then Cardoso came in, presumably to solve that. And then when I watch him, I'm like, he also doesn't have the answers. So that's why I'm not convinced they can win the Champions League.
Wait. Now you've touched on the coaching situation.
Yeah.
We were at the game, boys. It's a bit erring on the negative side, but I think we have to talk about this. We are not choice. I mean, first things first. I think it's pretty evident to say that the fans are not happy. Right? Raboni, you know, Dance has that thing, Mobasha Young dying at the end of the game.
Sure.
I think you took a video.
I took a video. So at some point after the game, I blow me later. I just, K1. And then this thing starts where, usually the Sundowns players will go to like acknowledge their fans, whatever. So Majita this time, Ayasoga boy. The fans were chanting Pitso. So that's the word now. And we've seen already, I think what's Italy, Flaming Back, Kamiti. But the point is the Sundowns fans are now a change in the coach, like agent.
So the player there, yeah.
No, the players were there. The players tried. But when they were doing that, defense did Pitso.
The players left.
Yeah, they did
eventually,
that.
what could they do? Because yeah.
And Flaming Back Bam Kamiti. There's a video of chairman defense so and then chairman over relaxing type of vibe. So guys, I think the question here is, are the fans justified in terms of the response? Okay, flopper management. Like, who's at fault in this whole thing?
Ooh. A very difficult one for me to answer now because they've decided to keep him longer. I thought by now we'd be gone. No, I mean, I'm serious. I thought, I thought they would have used the January transfer window to build
and change things up.
Yeah, and give a new coach time. You know, you're looking at the games that are coming up. This is our management because they're strategic people. We know, decisions that are made at an executive level and then at an operational level. But they are sitting there. The first game, you're thinking you're playing against Orbit. I'm sure the new coach would love it.
You
build your new system. You're playing against the Hilal on a Friday at home. You're thinking to yourself, the new coach would love this game. You know, coming in, implementing his strategies. You've got two games that are completely different. The objectives are completely different. You give the opportunity. You give the players that I've saw them at training, but I would have wanted more. Maybe you play them against Orbit, and then you play the team that you believe in as a coach. Because coaches, they speak to them 3 months prior. So no. Be ready. You know. So for me, when I'm looking at Cardoso now that they've kept him, now I think he's gonna finish the season. I thought he would be gone.
Sure.
So for me, he's got the players. He's got all the arsenal. He's got all the tools. He's got all the weapons. Like I said, there's no team that is as complete as Mamelodi Sundowns. They even have special qualities. They've got a goalkeeper that more building Mamelodi Sundowns. When you're talking about their game model, you don't say 4-2-3-1. You say 1-4-2. You have to include the one. That's the luxury
every
they have.
team is like that, Lindo.
Maybe not in Africa. Maybe not in Africa. They have the privilege.
We just don't use the keeper to build up some other teams because of qualities.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it's luxury to Mamelodi Sundowns. Sundowns has about 2 or 3 players who are left-footed into midfield.
Yeah.
Do you know how important is a diagonal, a pass and a diagonal first touch in terms of wanting to break lines in midfield? They've got that in Rusino, who I think if he does with time and if he adjusts, he can be a player.
Rusino.
I think that if he given time, I think there's a player there.
Yeah.
You know, so you're looking at defensively, we've got all the qualities. We've got about 3, 4 right backs, left backs.
But what is it? The question is, you say you thought Caruso would have left. But why? What is it that he's done wrong where you feel like before the season even ends, there's
no coach. It's difficult to find a code.
Askis, Mbazo, Askis.
Yeah.
I'm a fans sport. Ngifenda. Ngiyazazi self. Coach yawina. Ngithi maka coach akadlalisa abantu abamnandi. Angawini. Ngithi ayilaba ngithi bamnandi. Hayi. Ngifuna abasebenzi manje.
But that's why, you know what?
And then, so Cardoso remo blame for a team style or the way team winayo or personal usayo or mele ba wine kanjani.
That's why I'm asking
akasukumisa isandla athi.
Yeah.
Ngiyawina.
In my opinion, Orlando Pirates should not even have hope to win the league.
I think Sundowns fans are used to dominating though.
No, let me tell you where this comes from. In my opinion, with the squad that Mamelodi Sundowns has and the quality that Mamelodi Sundowns has, I don't think even Orlando Pirates should have a sniff of the league. That's why I'm saying you need to give Orlando Pirates huge credit for what they've been able to do with the squad that they have. Remember, Mbogazi comes from nowhere, guys. All of a sudden, Mbogazi has 10 Pirates into a league title team. William Fukeng, so many players into their squad.
Yeah, but listen, last year was a bit close.
If you look at
was close.
Mamela, if I were to ask you, if I were to ask you, Tebzin, pound for pound, if you look at that Mamelodi Sundowns squad, genuinely, pound for pound.
I will tell you this. The rotation, the match sharpness, match fitness. More we told and no more I told. And between the two, is Sundowns, the Pirates. The Pirates in the first round will be Spanish. The Sundowns being a Spanish. So the more uhleli, ifriendly ayifani in official game. Ungasho ukuthi hayi nginayo match fitness ngegame friend. Are we told into sharpness there on your toes? Ukucabanga ukudlala ku-fun foot. Because kufriendly unokuthi hayi siyayehlisa ipace nje. Ungazipush. Egamini ule. Belo ushaya isili. Uyazibulala ukuthi hayi sukumsatha ngishintshe coach eshayile. So mokhuluma ngePirates neSundowns in terms ukuthi sniff.
You know why? We need the Orlando Pirates model to work. so that it can prove that it can be successful. But what I'm saying is what Mamelodi Sundowns has invested into that squad, Orlando Pirates should actually not even have a sniff.
Yeah.
Orlando Pirates gained confidence as the season grew, as the project grew. They brought in a sporting director who, in my opinion, brought in exceptional players into that squad.
Yeah.
But those players needed to grow. They needed time. You needed to give them quarter time. Wasn't Quarter going to win Orlando Pirates the league when he came? No. But Mamelodi Sundowns signs players that are ready made to win the league, to win the CAF Champions League. That's the difference. The difference as well is players like Marcelo Allende. Orlando Pirates will never ever have a player like that. They're exceptional in terms of technical skill, in terms of individual player quality, in terms of tactically as well, coachable player. Orlando Pirates has individual players who are exceptional in terms of talented skill, but there's certain things that the Mamelodi Sundowns players have that Orlando Pirates don't have. And that's what I'm telling you about, which is the ready-made, which is proven. You know, Mamelodi Sundowns wants to go for young, proven players, wants to go for international players that can make a difference into that squad. That's the difference. What Orlando Pirates has done with their model is exceptional. And if it does win the league, in my opinion, that will put pressure onto teams like Chiefs, Khulumane United, Stellenbosch to say, if Orlando Pirates can win a league with them, it's possible.
But Lindo, here's my problem. And this is the thing for me. Ne? You mentioned Tabaya decisions being made in executive level.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's just be fair. All right. Let's assume for a moment, let's take Chemena Sundowns.
Yeah.
Right. The fans are saying to me, the coach must go. Sharp. I respect the fans.
Sure.
So I want to have a conversation. You're okay. I'm willing to listen. What has he done wrong? So far, what you've given me is that, well, we are top of the log, but I want to be top of the log by 15 points. Is that what we are saying? So is that what they want? Like Sundowns 20, guys, football doesn't work like that, unfortunately. We check out Man City. Man City can win the league 100 points. The next season, they can win 82 points.
And sometimes we have my 2 points.
Yeah,
gave me where
so I'm struggling to understand what is it. So the answer you've given me now is that you don't think Pirates should have a sniff. So is that what Cardoso has done wrong? The fact that there's now a title race, he should be top. So what is it?
No, it's a sequence of things.
Okay.
It's a sequence of things. Losing 4 trophies, being knocked out of the Carling Black Label, losing the CAF Champions League final, decisions being made in terms of players being let go, keeping a smaller group of players, letting go of players that could have been influential in the club, dressing room dynamics as well, which are very important. He doesn't keep a quiet dressing room. Even he himself as a coach, me personally, there's certain qualities that I like in a football coach. I don't think he's a bad coach. I've emphasized this so many times. I said that I don't think he's a good coach for Mamelodi Sundowns. But I also think that if I was to be coached by Miguel Cardoso as a football player, I would be very frustrated. He's a coach that he's almost like a Conte. He demands, yes, he can get the best out of you, but there's certain things that makes me feel uncomfortable when I'm watching him on the bench. How he articulates himself in the media as well. I think he shot himself on the foot so many times. I know that he's expressive and he's a talker for sure. But for me personally, I think that he's out of tools now. I think in terms of the coaching skills.
Okay, Lindo, let's look at the facts, right? Because that's the other thing, right? It's like with a lot of Sundowns fans, there's the people that they like, the people that they don't like, right?
Sure.
And when you try to have like a conversation, there are certain inconvenient facts that they just want to avoid, right? So I tested it, ne? Opala Sundowns elishaya ko Rustenburg, Canet Bank, ka final. That season Sundowns won a treble, ne? Nearly 2021-2022 season, because we won in Bank in TNL League, right? I think they were still the co-coaches, or it was Mangoba. I can't remember what it was, right? Then Coach Rolani took over, 2022 season, right? From then, Sundowns have only ever won the league. I think they won the AFL, but we'll get to that. For me, that competition is right. But win a league fail. You talk about Cardoso losing trophies, right? Every season, then they lose. They've lost cup finals against Pirates. Only final the way they lost where Rele scored. Remember when Rele became famous? They showed they could not win any more local trophies, right? Champions League, the first season under Roland, they make it to the semi-final. That's when they lost Opolam Valasha on goal against Wydad ka semi-final. And then we thought, man, that was close, it was unlucky. Then they go back to the Champions League. You know what happened? They come out of the group Sundowns did not score a goal in the knockout against young Africans, not at home, not away. They won on penalties. They were not convincing. Esperance beats them home and away. 1-0. They're out.
Semi-final.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I'm not saying the management made the right decision by firing Roland, but I'm saying let's be objective. If I'm the chairman of Sundowns and I look at this, I say, I want to win the Champions League. And now it looks like I thought we are going forward, but now it's like we're going backwards.
Yeah.
Sershapio home and away. Now we're not even scoring a goal in the knockout. Maybe I need to make something different, do something different that will push me over the line. And then they bring in Cardoso. Is that not a fair?
It was fair. It was no. It was a fair decision, right, to bring in a Miguel Cardoso.
Yeah.
And I think there's not everything is negative in football, for sure.
Yeah.
There's good parts and there's negative parts. And you can speak. We've spoken about the negatives and the positives. But there's always an elephant in the room in Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah.
And I think the people that at the football club, the people that support the club, will tell you this. There's 2 games that Mamelodi Sundowns don't play every season.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the 2 Soweto derbies.
Mm-hmm.
Orlando Pirates always has to play for a very, very difficult 6 points. Right? If you were to speak about it now, league overall, there's 4 games, or maybe let me say, Mamelodi Sundowns has 4 games that are very difficult because they can swing either way. Kaizer Chiefs can pull up at Loftus and surprise you. Orlando Pirates can pull up at Loftus and surprise you. Vice versa when they're playing at their home grounds. Those are not guaranteed 6 points from each. So there's 12 points into that space that Mamelodi Sundowns plays for if they are difficult. Pirates and Chiefs have 18. You count the Soweto derby, it's not guaranteed. Orlando Pirates has 6 important games they have to play. Mamelodi Sundowns doesn't have that.
And it's easier for Sundowns.
I'm not saying it's easier. It's the elephant in the room to say, Orlando Pirates, you're competing against a team that doesn't have, in the beginning of the season, they don't have a 6 points that is guaranteed. And for Pirates and Chiefs, that is the biggest hurdle why they've been. That's why this conversation is very important. When PhD said, we need Pirates, we need Kaizer Chiefs to come to the party to help us to win the league. He said it as a fan, but that's very deep. For Pirates to win the league, they need Kaizer Chiefs to come to the party. Because there's these 2 games that Mamelodi Sundowns that need to play that must never be guaranteed. And over the past few years, those games have been guaranteed by Kaizer Chiefs. When Mamelodi Sundowns comes up against Kaizer Chiefs, 10 out of 10 it's been guaranteed. And that's the elephant in the room. When you're speaking about dominance, you're not only speaking about player dominance in terms of the players that the club has signed. That's a factor as well. Mamelodi Sundowns doesn't have, whether you like it or not, it's a regional team. They feel the stadium where they are more comfortable. Orlando Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs have it's a privilege, but it's pressure.
Chief.
It's pressure. You know what I mean?
Pirates only feel it when
it's pressure that becomes privilege. But it's pressure that becomes privilege. That a Kaizer Chiefs actually has to play a final each and every 3 games or every week. So there's another elephant in the room. That's something that we as football people, if you're on the ground and you're talking and you've coached football, you know those games matter. No, sharp. Go for it.
So Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns. So Sundowns has been doing this for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
So both teams, they've been alungi. Yoguti, Sundowns been alungi. Yoguti, njilab, banela competition. Yeah. Basalik in bonk. Yoguti wini league, tawla yonki. Tawla yonki. Tawla yoguti, lava, game injani, stadium C90, pressure. Sundowns is lama pressure game CAF all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, for sure.
I-pressure, idlala le Egypt. Idlala la FNP. Angatshela mngani wami.
For sure.
Yeah.
I see next la FNP.
But you see
I'm
my
talking
point.
about the Betway Premiership.
But you see why how difficult it is to explain.
Just pressure in general.
Yes, I'm saying Mamelodi Sundowns is used to pressure for sure.
Sure.
I am saying those games, when you're looking at a 30 match calendar,
they're bigger games.
There's games playing against Chiefs at Loftus is always a game that any coach will tell you that's a very difficult game.
No, listen, I
points
get
are
your
not
point
guaranteed
completely.
there. Yeah.
I get your point completely. Fair, and which is fair. Which is fair. But say stretch. Sikhuluma ngoKhadoso. Sithi uKhadoso sona. Khadoso mina preferably fana nami mngani wami. Faka amatayela.
There's an argument for him to stay. That's all you got.
No, don't get me wrong, guys. I am not saying Cardoso must stay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, right? Isn't there? Let's explore both sides, because, and I'm still not getting a clear answer. What is so wrong at Sundowns that the coach has to go now? See how difficult it is to explain it.
It's difficult.
Now imagine being the management. Now you need to make...
We've given you so many reasons.
I still haven't heard a clear... Let me give you an example.
I've told you about the players. I've said that Mamelodi Sundowns, the biggest number one reason is he's got the best players in Africa.
Yeah.
In terms of squad depth, in terms of squad quality, in terms of technical quality, in terms of experience, in terms of big match pedigree.
Yes.
He's got a team that almost can do everything. Do you get me? It's not even about the Pololaki. He should. It's not Mpoza. He came in at Mamelodi Sundowns to say we've had dominant football, we've had position football, we've had the diagonal foot, the dodge under Pitso where Klompo Kekana would find to come up. The same pass with the Klompo Kekana. He comes in as a coach that comes into a team that has won 7 leagues, that has won the Champions League, that has been semi-finalist, football heritage, been reaching finals domestically. He comes into a team that now you've got the tools. The team, Ogmeli Pilde now is a team that has everything.
Sure.
Every team has processes and every team builds strategies. If I am Coach Khulumane, Coach Pitso, I'm bringing a different element to Mamelodi Sundowns, which is defensively attacking in terms of transitions. Coach Khulumane comes in with the ball control and the build up and the position base. As a Miguel Cardoso, you come in, you add something different. That's why we gave him credit when he came in and I'm a player at defend, I'm a set piece. He came in and they identified things to improve. That's why we said he speaks big, good media, but he doesn't implement because good media, he said we need to work on our set piece deliveries. We need to defend our set piece a little bit better. We need to be good in terms of defending our defensive transitions. We said, wow, he's incredible. The media said he's incredible because those are elements and things that we needed in the Mamelodi Sundowns game model. Mpoza, Mamelodi Sundowns are supposed to be a complete team by now. In this time, January, 1 year, it's been a year in his contract. Mamelodi Sundowns are supposed to be a complete team. The fact that Mamelodi Sundowns is not yet a complete team with the resources, with the budget that it's been given. For me, I don't know if he still should be in the
But doesn't it make more sense to say? Remember, the management decided, they made this decision. We all think it was the wrong decision, by the way. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it was the right decision. But I'm saying I can see there's some rationality to it, right? Once they'd made that decision, remember, he did not even, this was his first full season, right? So he comes in, I think, about October, November, right?
Sure.
He finishes
in January.
No, he came around. They just lost to Magesi in the...
Yeah.
It was around
November.
December. So all I'm saying is, once management has made that decision, which we all think is a wrong decision, but sometimes you need to let these things play out and decide at the end whether it was a right or wrong decision, right? Doesn't it then make sense to say, yes, he didn't have a full season. This is his first full season. Let's let this experiment that we've decided to embark on. High fail a season reborn. If it fails, of course, then he must go. But for me, this Racha must go now, January. So
it's not going to go anymore.
I don't get it. Because that's what the fans are crying for. They want him out now.
Right now. I'm not happy out, but it's fine.
But you agree he must finish the season at least.
I think
it's late now. It's late.
I think he's finishing the season unless something drastic happens.
Anyway, it's not like we finish our season just because we finish. Why shout why I finish?
Yeah, but I think
let's move on from this.
My final question, let's assume he's failed. Then the coach who's coming in, tell me what will make you happy. This is the guy.
The biggest mandate is win big trophies, but make the team a complete team. That's the biggest mandate. You've got the best resources. You've got the biggest budget. You've got the best pitch. We saw the pitch. The pitch looks good. The pitch at Loftus looks amazing. You are guaranteed 15 wins every game. It was proven. Cardoso did it last year. Coach Khulumane did it in the previous season. You've got that reference. You've got that football heritage. You've got the squad depth. You've got the players. You've got the biggest budget in terms of transfers. Make the team a complete team. That's your mandate.
And win.
You want to dominate and win.
It's just
dominant in football is, you can't want to dominate in a Champions League. African football is very
3-4 cards a season.
Win major trophies. Win major trophies.
Trophies, PSL, CAF,
FIFA Club World Cup. Come with a bronze.
You're not winning that.
Come with
at least qualify for it.
No, not qualified. Bronze.
Well, you win CAF, you qualify. You
win a
go.
Bronze.
Bronze got champion.
At Al Ahly, that's the target. Win the league. Win the Champions League.
They don't even make it out of the group.
I'm saying that's the target.
Is different from.
I'm
sure Sundowns got that target.
I'd take a make it out of the group.
When we are speaking about complete, that's exactly a team that can deal with the conditions of the Betway Premiership.
Yeah.
Conditions to deal when you're playing against the Milford, You know, conditions of playing against a big club, conditions of playing against an Al-Ahly.
Are we also not? Are we not overstating or overrating how good Sundowns really is and what they've really built?
No, it's too much.
Do you think we're overrating?
Guys,
too much.
I think
guys, Sundowns has
that's
one
a big statement.
Sundowns has one Champions League title ever. But we're going on like, you know, the way we are going on, it's like, it's this powerhouse. They should be winning this thing. I don't know where that comes from.
I think they have the resources, man.
I think this is the same as the national team conversation.
Yeah.
It's a similar
I think
thing.
the players that Mamelodi Sundowns has.
But if they've got those resources, right, then tell me this. Right? I get it now. Fans are chanting Pitso, right? Pitso won. He did a brilliant job. He's a legend. But the fact is, Pitso won the Champions League A1 in like, I don't know how many years.
Yeah, but I'm looking at Mpoza. I'm looking at Ronan Williams. I'm looking at Marcelo Allende, Nuno, Tebogo Mokoena. You know, I'm looking at those players and I'm thinking to myself, those are some of the best players we have in Africa. Yes, maybe they are European, some of the.
Are you looking at Mayele?
I'm putting him into that space.
Are you looking at Blatitore?
Blatitore, yes, for sure. For sure. There's a couple even at Al-Ahabu Mohamed Fati. I think our shows, I think is there in that space. Yeah. But if you're looking at the top 10 and you're looking at those players, Marcelo, I think it's just that maybe I'm a little bit obsessed about Marcelo. And I think he's. I think when I look at I think maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm a little bit biased from here, except what you say. When I look at Marcelo Allende,
Marcelo and then
no, in the PSL, if you're thinking Marcelo Allende, and you're watching Marcelo Allende live, and you're thinking to myself, who's gonna cope with this guy?
But my thing is this, because I'm all about. For me, I just want an objective conversation, right? Let's assume you're right. Let's assume Allende is that good. Let's assume Tebza is that good. Kuliso, Ronwen, right? And let's assume Cardoso is the problem. And then answer this.
Are they that good for the PSL?
Why is it that even before Cardoso came, those same players, when they had to win a Champions League semi-final, when they had to beat Pirates fail. How many times did Pirates beat them in cup finals? If they are that good. And Cardoso is the problem.
Football heritage.
Yeah.
Those players were going to win the Champions League under Coach Khulumane.
No, we don't know that. They were going backwards. They were going backwards compared to what they did before. We can't measure that.
Semi-finals.
Football heritage, you know, semi-final, final.
But coach did say you have to flirt with it.
You know?
Flirt. Champions League. But
guys, this is my final word on this. I just feel like also, you know what we exaggerated with Sundowns is, guys, this is the first time I've ever heard of a team being called the best on the continent without winning a continental title. For example, Barcelona. Barcelona is all about tiki-taka, right? But I can tell you now, go Barcelona, we talk about Barcelona teams when they do what?
When they win.
They deliver, right?
100%.
Rijkaard delivered. That's why Ronaldinho. Pep came in, played a style of football, but guess what he did?
He won.
He delivered the big marbles, right? We are insisting that Sundowns
so it's not the coach.
I'm saying maybe we must have an honest conversation.
And say it's what? It's the quality of the players.
Not necessarily.
The club.
No, I'm saying the conversation we should...
All
I'm saying is the conversation we should be having is, right? And it's not just about Cardoso, it's not just about Rolani, it's not just about... I'm saying maybe we must also be honest with the conversations we have. Where we really are versus where we think we are. And I think Sundowns, I don't think they're the powerhouse that we insist they are. With one Champions League ever. I don't see it. I'm sorry.
No, fair enough.
Fair enough.
I think the proof is in the trophies.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people can say,
yeah,
but it's in the trophies. If you don't win the trophy, you can say this and this are the best centre back pairing, or this is the best player. But if they don't win any trophies, their legacy will be there. Okay,
and then that's when it becomes difficult for management, because then we start talking about abstract things. We start saying words like Sundowns has lost its soul. Look, if I'm the chairman, I want to know what's being delivered.
Okay, sharp. You know what?
So
I want to move on to the next thing. And then
after the season, but I think after season, I think after the season,
Champions League.
And then I don't think defense need to make accept.
For me, even if he wins the league as a Champions League, I think the fans will want to shake his hands and say thank you for delivering.
He's already moved into a hotel.
Yeah.
You know, he's already the ticket is already booked.
Yeah.
We don't know.
The person who's going to drive him from the hotel to the airport It's already booked.
And
And I think there's a huge possibility. And then I think there's a huge possibility with the AVs, can we just in and out as vile as drive?
Guys, the reality is this, né? Let's say Uchuzambedi, like a wife or girlfriend, né? And then when introduce a familiar house. And maybe the old lady just looks at her and just decides one come out. Right? I think Karso is in that space, to be honest.
No.
I don't think there's anything that he could ever do that will ever make the Sundowns fans accept him. Most not all of them.
No.
So that's why after the season is higher, and then they can make the decision.
I'm not.
Yeah, no,
it's
I'm not.
fine.
Yeah.
But okay, sharp. Last thing on Mamelodi Sundowns. Pep, this one's for you, my brother. né? But the Shy starting lineup.
Yeah.
Sundowns. Best starting lineup right now. The Champions League semi-finale.
Yeah.
Salamam.
Everyone is fit.
Everyone is fit.
Goalkeeper, of course, Africa's second best goalkeeper. I'm saying second because there's
So he's the best.
actually there's two top ones.
Okay.
Edward Mendy, Bono,
Okay, cool.
maybe a Ronza as
I
well.
can take that.
But
Okay.
best playing in Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, first playing in Africa for sure, 100%. Kulisom Dao Furvai.
Yeah.
So, VIP. For me, with the full squad, fully fit.
Yeah.
You're obviously having Mvala there. I've always said that I love Grant. I vouched for him to be in the national team. But there's something that when he plays, he makes me feel uncomfortable. More especially when we play games of consequence. I do have a sense of feeling uncomfortable. And that's just me. So I would always have Mvala there. One view on defending. I think I'd start to Khulumane and Ndamane, in my opinion. For a good example, left footer very important for me in the build-up process. Extra player. I don't have to ask Ronza to build up lateral sometimes. Obviously, Oprim Diba
Standard.
left, and then in midfield, I think Marcelo Allende, Nuno Santos, best midfield.
Clean.
Best midfielder in the league. Comfortably.
Clean.
Exceptional football players, in my opinion, in Ule Ambizalian. Utebs and Samkela and Dona Pega Mamela. Just Zalama 5-meter pass who compress space. Maul
maybe
stretch.
lahlile boy.
Mama lahlile idonse boy. Ngoba le dlala le number 10, le show number 10.
Yeah.
Inzima kakhulu in terms of passing. I think that guy can, the more he spends time in the country, understands the players that he's playing with, understands the league, I think he's going to be dangerous. On the wider channels, this is where the big conversation
That's the big conversation.
This is the big conversation. But for me, I think in the front areas, there's no better player, in my opinion, than Gutlan.
Okay. Where are you playing?
On the right-hand side, coming in as a number 10. I think he scored a goal that I like when he scored against the Richards Bay, when he came into the box and he punishes me inside foot. Apagati boxing.
Where are the technique, ne?
It's very important. Yeah, it's very important. Very important. Gutlan Lutsako, I think he can be very key from us if we can protect him and play him into spaces where he's dangerous. And then obviously on the right-hand side, if Mapena is fit, I'm starting Mapena.
On the left.
Yeah, on the left. On the right
semi-final.
Semi-final, Mapena.
Okay.
It's Akumabe.
Yeah, Mapena. And up top, which is a very difficult one. I'm starting Renas up top.
That's not difficult, that one.
For me, I will always say this. If you're a foreign player and you are not a ceiling raiser, and Lentes na already, and you're not offering. Why is Valeli? Why is he
Top
Renas.
Renas.
a talented young guy?
Quality.
You can't tell me this guy, but to Musanzo Begu Renas a pension. No
I
way.
never.
There's no way. He must work.
I don't think we've seen enough. But
Alale,
right now,
50
Renas.
goals.
No matter
right
how
now,
good he is, bro.
Right now,
But
Renas is the guy.
That's a solid lineup.
15
That's a solid
Zimba.
lineup.
Webeka pension.
15
Zimba.
Unless ungazufuna ngenzani nguRenas in fit. But for me, right now at Mamelodi Sundowns, I don't think in terms of attack there's better players than those two young boys.
Okay.
Litlaku, Mapena up top, unless maybe I'm forgetting someone. Please remind me some of the forwards they have, maybe.
At
Saints,
least the team yakho no
It's
sugar.
sales
Saleng actually needs.
Saleng. Who else?
Saleng actually needs.
It's sales Tashrik Saleng. In the wide
Yeah,
areas, that's
Saleng.
about it. In the forward line, I will mention among
Ichai.
Peter. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe for experience, and I'm looking for physicality. Maybe a player Saleng in a big game. But other than that, if
No, I team yakho mngwana ngeva kuphekisa.
no, but if I'm going for a kill, I'm definitely
Yeah, but
introducing the
please.
dribbling wizard. Given an opportunity, he's the most talented football player in terms of a technical ability
But-
that we have. Mapena. I think
Mina
Mabena.
nje ngilwa nomshishi team yakho. The rest die.
Yeah, no,
Umshishi
Mara
umshishi.
mushisho kena kaya.
Listen,
because-
No, mamela, umshishi ngiyamdala.
Ja, kalkhatha leside le1 kwa.
No, kuyadumela. No, kuyadumela.
Anyway.
Ngiyavuma, maybe if without Tulentuza, without uMabena, ngadlala umshishi into the space.
that's
But other than that, I think the boy deserves a chance now. I think Mabena, Litlaku, for me, those are the two players that I'm investing everything that I have.
Okay.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Going
Fair.
forward, future, cabanga izinto ezinjalo.
Yeah.
But
Last
right
words?
now, I'm gonna.
Wahana Jack.
Abomrena babheke phezulu ba relaxing.
Abameka
Hi. Let's move on.
It's fine.
But Umshishi,
Talking about Sundowns for an hour.
yeah,
It's just
Umshishi.
crazy. It's ridiculous. There's a lot to talk about though.
Amara ayintswembe.
No,
Maybe
good team. I mean, obviously, people have their preferences here and there. Good team you have done.
I like the team, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not
Who
sure
would you
what
swap? Who would you swap?
I'd swap. I'd bring in a Saleng or I'd bring in a
Over
Saleng
one of the young boys.
somewhere, maybe over. I would have started Mabena. I think Mabena, I don't think he's played enough games to develop the way he should have. I don't think he's that ready, especially if we're talking big games.
Yeah, Champions League
in fact,
semi-final.
Yeah, I'd bring Saleng for Mabena somewhere.
Yeah,
I'd
you're
bring
playing for all the
Yeah.
marbles.
Yeah.
Pele.
Ndaba la ntwana leyana mina ngi-rate very high. Ukuthi
Mabena.
melilungise la. Mayingalungisa la izoba sharp.
Yeah.
Mayingalungisa la izoba sharp. Le ntwana leyana ila ma-player lawa ukuthi mabo Ronaldinho. Ila mabo Robinho. Ila ma-player lawa ukuthi if uyadecide yena namhlanje ukuthi bheka ngicela ningiphaseni ngeke zingimake lezi.
Yeah.
He's that type of player, Mabena. And sometimes you need that because Mamelodi Sundowns plays nama-team adlala nge-low block.
Yeah.
Sometimes udinga umuntu ozothi abe irritated. Phasa mina. Alanda. Ngiyashaya. Alalisa amakrotman. Kuyenzeka na. Funeka inkani nenkani ngithanda uhlebe. Inobusto melilungise la ikepani phela. See, yabona Tshepo le ntwana mangalungisa ikepani. Izoba grand. He's technically we've got and another thing left no right Yafana. Yeah, no left no right Yafana. Very talented, very low sense of gravity, short passing. Maybe the one thing that he can add into his game, maybe it's goals. But other than that, in terms of can play as a 10, can play as a winger, you can play him anywhere.
I think Downs has, and I think we touched on it a little bit. Downs probably has the best young players in the country right now. And Batwa School of Excellence. It's fine. Okay. Final words, gents. Are you rapping? Let's wrap it up. Final words, Mposa. Anything else you wanted to mention?
Let's allow Lord Cardoso to finish the season. I still, like I told you, favor Pirates in the league this season.
Yeah.
I favor Sundowns in the Champions League. I hope I'm wrong and Sundowns will finally win the Champions League. Yeah.
Kumere.
Pepe. Even with what I've said, I still think that sometimes it's always a privilege to watch football, more especially up close. I don't want to lie for me. I think the quality of players that Mamelodi Sundowns has is exceptional.
Yep.
Results or not, I know football is a game of results, but I know that Orlando Pirates fans want to win the league, but I think it's going to be very difficult for them to win the league, in my opinion, looking at the quality of players that the Sundowns has. And I do see, unfortunately, if Orlando Pirates achieves winning the league, it would be something special. But I do see, even with what I've said, I do still think that Mamelodi Sundowns will win the league. Yeah, I think Sundowns will still win the league.
You heard it here first, ladies and gents. Lord Cardoso is winning the league. Avayo, that season. But anyway, thank you, gents, for tuning in, ladies and gents. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's engage in the comment section and all of those types of things. But shout out, man. We're gonna be discussing Orlando Pirates next, Kaizer Chiefs next. Tune into the next episode of the State of Football. Shout out. Boom.